Okay. And those in the gallery that we've invited, please stand up. All right.
Kindly raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
Let the record state that all these people who are here, and we have a listing, and we later on will identify each one of them as they're called, have already taken their oath. Please proceed, General Albayalde.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the Chairman and the members of the joint committees in this public hearing, magandang umaga po sa inyo. I wish to thank the Honorable Chairman of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights for inviting the PNP to participate in today's deliberation of various bills and resolutions with the commendable intent of introducing reforms in jail and prison management and improving our correction system, as well as reviewing the GCTA or good conduct time allowance and amending it if necessary. The PNP fully supports this legislative undertaking. As head of the National Police Force, it is my duty to the country that I contribute to the government's effort in legislating measures that will improve our criminal justice system. However, as Chief PNP, I am equally compelled to ensure that the police force does not become the object of innuendos and that PNP officers are spared from being the subject of a blind item in the media, especially on the general allegation of abuse, corruption, and involvement in illegal drugs. I admit that there are a number of policemen who are reportedly abusive, corrupt, or involved in illegal drugs. But for the last 17 months, since I became chief, I have strived to lead the 190,000 policemen to uphold the positive image of the Philippine National Police by sustaining the internal cleansing program initiated by my predecessor, now a good senator and a member of this august body. After all, I have always been championing police discipline, and as a police commander, ridding the PNP of rogue policemen had always been my advocacy. As PNP chief, I am proud to report to the Filipino people that integrity monitoring and enforcement among the police force was institutionalized during my time, encouraging the citizens to report errant cops and resulting in the dismissal of several erring PNP members and the filing of criminal cases against them. In addition, the overall PNP accomplishments under my command are not lackluster, either both in the war against illegal drugs and addressing the problem of policemen involved in illegal drugs proliferation. While I was the NCRPO chief, I have endeavored to prove that I am worthy of the confidence reposed upon me by the President. I still endeavor to do so today. Amidst insinuations made against me that cast aspirations upon my leadership as PNP chief. Hence, in the interest of fair play and impartiality, fundamental to a democratic society, I am appealing to your honor's high sense of justice to make public the record of the executive session that was requested during the previous joint committee hearing, as this will present our constituency and posterity with a balanced perspective. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honors, at mabuhay po.
Thank you very much. Even before the statement made by the Chief PNP, we have already decided that we will put it out in the open, as I said in my prefatory remarks. So now, is there anybody else who want to speak in your behalf? I think you made a request for General Garland.
Later, Mr. Chairman, if...
Later, all right.
Yes,
In that case,
General Garland is
the chair would now like to recognize General Magalong, who made a statement. Sir, are you ready to make a statement again in connection with your previous statement made in executive session?
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of this committee. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Last September 19, I was asked by no less than the chairman of this committee to appear to give light on what is happening in the Bureau of Correction, particularly at the National Bilibid Prison, with respect to the with respect to the ongoing investigation on GCTA. Initially, I hesitated to appear because I have nothing to do with GCTA. But when he mentioned to me that the objective is to find out what's really happening inside Bucor, then I acceded and I decided to appear. During the executive session, I mentioned a particular incident sometime in November 29, 2013, wherein intelligence officers of the Pampanga Provincial Police Office conducted an anti-drug operation in Lakeshore, Mexico, Pampanga, particularly at Woodbridge subdivision. During that time, the provincial director was the incumbent chief PNP, General Oscar Albayalde. While they were conducting the anti-drug operation, we found out, may I first clarify that this was prompted, our investigation, the investigation of the CIDG was prompted by an instruction from General Purisima sometime in February 2014. After briefing him on our ongoing investigation on Agaw Bato, he mentioned to me about his information that he received that several intelligence officers of the Pampanga Provincial Office have newly acquired SUVs. So sabi niya sa akin, Benji, imbestigahan mo nga to. Dahil just recently nagkaroon ng operation itong mga bata diyan sa Pampanga. Meron silang nakuhang mga 30 plus na kilos na shabu. Pero bigla silang nagkaroon ng mga gagandang sasakyan. Sabay-sabay. And so we conducted the investigation. And in the process, we were able to establish the following facts. That it was on 29 November 2013 when the operation was conducted in, as I've said, in Woodbridge subdivision. Second is, it was conducted in the morning based on the testimonies of the guards and based on the testimonies of the barangay officials. Third is, they were able to seize substantial amount of drugs, and they declared around 38 kilograms. Fourth is, they were able to arrest one particular high-profile drug trafficker, a Chinese national by the name of Johnson Lee. And third is, they were able to seize cash as well during that particular operation. That was what was indicated in their official report. But when we conducted the investigation, these were our findings. To summarize, based on our when we conducted the crime scene reenactment, it turned out that they have seized more or less 200 kilograms of shabu. That is based on the testimonies and based on our reenactment. Second is, while they have arrested Johnson Lee, who initially escaped, but then when he was able to escape during that particular raid, but he was able to seek the help of the barangay officials, but the barangay official turned him over to the arresting officers. It turned out that during the presentation, it was not Johnson Lee that they presented, but another individual, a Chinese national by the name of Ding Wenkun. And based on the testimonies of those who witnessed the turnover, ang sabi nila, Sir, hindi naman yan yung nahuli. iba naman itong pinipresenta. Third is, nung binabanggit nila, yung mga witnesses mismo, ang nagsabi na sa laki, sa sobrang dami ng shabu na nakumpiska doon sa bahay, halos 4 na tao ang nagbubuhat doon sa oversized na maleta. 4 na tao ang nagbubuhat. At kitang-kita nila na pati yung shabu tumutulo pa. Tumutulo pa. And according to one of the witness, who is an official of a security agency, nung pumasok siya, kinunan niya yung picture, nung pati yung hagdanan, kitang-kita niya talaga. Nakakalat yung shabu doon at yung trail nung shabu ay nung drugs, doon mismo sa hagdanan. It only showed that there was no proper handling of evidence. Another is, according to our witnesses, ang sabi nila, and this is corroborated by several witnesses, may dala-dala pang isang box na pera, palabas, doon sa building o doon sa residence na dinadala nila doon sa sasakyan at ito'y punong-puno ng pera. Ang size ng box is around 24 inches by 24 inches by 12 inches. Again, according to our witnesses, ang sabi nila, hirap na hirap pang isara sa dami ng shabu na nilagay dun sa maleta, hirap na hirap silang isara. So when we did our reenactment, and based on the testimony, based on the observations of the witnesses, we calculated that there are about 200 kilograms of shabu that was actually seized. The group was led by a certain Police Superintendent Rody Baloyo, who was then the intelligence officer of the Pampanga Provincial Office.
Is Police Superintendent Baloyo? Is it? Police Major is here. Let the record state that you took your oath, right? Can you please answer? And that you took your oath already, right? Okay, good. Sit down, please.
Mr. Chair, if I may proceed.
To call the
Yes.
with the people that you're referring to so that we would know who they are here. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
When General Petrosanta, who was the regional director, found out that we were investigating the case, he immediately relieved General Albayalde, who was then a police senior superintendent.
Petro Santa was
The regional director. He was the
Regional
acting
director.
regional director of the Police Regional Office, Mr. Chair.
go ahead, please.
And immediately conducted its own investigation and filed a case against the team of Police Superintendent Rody Baloyo. When we went over,
Those people that General Petro Santa filed cases against, are they here right now? General Magalong, can you give us the names if they're here?
Apo, Mr. Chair, we have Police Superintendent Rody Baloyo,
Stand up, please. I know you
Police,
stood up already. Stand up again.
Police Senior Inspector Juven Bugnot de Guzman Jr.,
De Guzman, are you here? What is your rank? Can you speak louder? Police Lieutenant. At that time of the raid, what was your rank?
Police Senior Inspector, Your Honor.
Police Senior Inspector. All right.
SPO1,
Did you take your oath already? Okay, go ahead.
SPO1 Jules Maniago,
Yes. You've taken your oath, Mr. Maniago? Are you sure? All right, go ahead.
SPO1 Ronald Santos,
Ronald Santos, are you here? Is Ronald Santos here? kindly issue a subpoena to Ronald Santos. Go ahead, please.
SPO1 Donald Roque.
We issued the subpoena to these people, right? Last year, right? Invited. All right. So, subpoena muna. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
SPO1 Donald Roque is present.
Mr. Roque? Donald Roque. Have you taken your oath, Donald? Okay.
SPO1 Romel Vital.
Have you taken your oath, sir? Thank you.
SPO1 Alcindor Tinio.
You've taken your oath, Mr. Tino? Please answer. Go ahead.
PO3 Dindo Dison.
Mr. Dizon, are you here? Dindo Dizon? Absent, all right?
PO3 Gilbert De Vera.
Have you taken your oath already? Okay.
PO3 Romeo Guerrero.
Have you taken your oath? Thank you, Mr. Guerrero.
PO2 Anthony Loleng Laksamana.
Mr. Laksamana, have you taken your oath? Okay.
SPO1 Eligio Dayos Valeroso.
Mr. Valerosa, are you here? Sound off, please. Don't wave at me. Sound off. Yes, sir. Thanag you.
And
Sorry,
finally,
nag-ROTC ako, pinapractice ko lang. Go
yes,
ahead.
Mr. Chair, thank you. And finally, SPO1 Dante Dison.
Ayan. Okay, Dante Dizon. Thank you. So, dalawang absent. Si Santos at saka si Dizon. Sampina yan, ha? Okay. Okay, please proceed. You may sit down, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Chair.
much.
As I mentioned, Mr. Chair, Police Senior Superintendent, Police General Petrasanta conducted its own investigation and filed a case against these respondents. When we went over the, it was a administrative case and both criminal case.
Criminal and
Your Honor.
administrative. Right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And when we went over the criminal case and have it reviewed by our lawyers, it turned out po na napakahina po nung kaso na na-file. So what I did was to confer with General
When you
Police.
say napakahina,
Mahina po yung
that
file. It
means
was
they did not do their homework or talaga walang ebidensya?
mabilis po, mabilisan na ginawa po yung investigation.
Ura-urada.
Yeah. Kaya nakita ho namin na may mga testimonies po na hindi po maayos, hindi po yung mga binabanggit po ng mga ebidensya, hindi po talaga back up by evidence, you know.
I want you to be specific because this is the bane of many of cases that are being filed. Either the police doesn't show up or hindi nakaayos yung paghanda ng kaso.
Yes, sir. Pati,
Is
sir,
that correct, Secretary Ibarra? Kaya na-dismiss, mahina ang pagka-file, di ba?
In many occasions, that's the case.
Yeah, I just wanted that on the record. Go ahead, please.
pati yung kanilang mga affidavit of arrest, hindi po maayos ng pagkakago. I'm sorry, sir. Pati
Yes,
po
sir.
yung kanilang mga statements, testimonies, hindi po rin po inconsistent. So, napansin po namin na dahil mahina yung kaso, I decided to confer with General Purisima at bigyan po yan ng instruction si General Petrasanta to withdraw the case. Dahil po we are now conducting our own investigation and we'll make sure that we will develop a very strong case against these respondents. It took us about 2 months to convince General Petrasanta. Around 2 beses po ako pumunta sa kanya.
You had to convince General Petrosanta.
Opo, yes sir. And finally, pumayag din po siya. I believe sometime in April, winidraw po niya yung kanyang kaso. Yes, sir. Opo.
2014 na yan.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Chair. And in first week of May, we conducted our reenactment to validate the information that we have gathered. And true enough, we were able to establish na around 200 kilos nga po talaga ang nakuha, as against the 38 kilos na dineclare nila.
And how much would that be in terms of street value? If
Sir,
you know?
during that time, I believe yung price po ng methamphetamine ay hydrochloride is around 5,500 per kilogram to 6,000 per kilogram.
6,000 per kilogram.
Yes, sir. 5,005. Ang nabalitaan po namin sa merkado, when we conducted our investigation, the course of our investigation, we found out na bumaha po yung drugs sa Pampanga, sa Region 3. At bumagsak po yung presyo doon ng around 4,000 per kilogram. I'm sorry, 4 million per kilogram. That's 4,000 per gram. Per gram, sir. Yan.
4,000 per gram.
Per gram,
Oh.
yes, sir. That's about 4 million per kilogram.
4 million per kilo.
Kilogram.
So if we had 200 kilos na tinago,
I-times na lang, sir, natin. Yeah.
hindi,
Minus
238 eh.
Yeah.
Tinurn over yung 36 mo, 38.
Yes,
Tinurn
sir.
over. So
Aha,
may natira
162.
silang 200 by your estimation.
162 po.
Tama ba yan?
Yeah, around
Tama raw.
162.
Okay, so 200. Ano?
162 kilograms times 4 million na lang po, sir. Ganun
Oh,
lang ang
160
pressure.
kilos. I'm confused eh, kasi sabi niyo 230.
Yes,
Ano
sir.
ba talaga? 230 o 200?
200 po.
200.
Around more or less 200 kilograms
So,
based on our reenactment.
so we're saying 160 ang kinyani,
Na-retain
ang
also.
iniwan.
Ayun. More or less, Mr. Chair. At nabalitaan rin po namin
Anong
na
total cost naman para malaman ng publiko kung gaano kalaki yan?
160 times 4, 64 times 6.
600? 648 million
Yes, sir, 640 million.
and change.
Yes, sir.
648 million.
Yung estimate naman po namin dun sa pera na nakuha based dun sa configuration ng box is probably around 10 million din po yun.
10 million
Yeah, 10 million.
sa box.
Iba pa rin po yung nangyari na pinatakas nila yung si Johnson Lee at kumuha sila ng isang another Chinese suspect. According to our sources, si Johnson Lee po nagbayad po ng around 50 million for his freedom.
So nagkasunduan sila.
Nagkasunduan, no?
Kapag pasibating kita, ako nang bahala sa kaso mo, kukuha ako ng ibang tao.
Yes, sir. Despite the fact na
Alam
napakarami
ba nung kinuhang tao na siya may ipit?
doon nga ho po siya nagtataka bakit po siya biglang pinasok ho doon sa Clark Freeport Zone sa kanyang bahay. Napakalayo po nung lugar eh.
Oo.
The incident happened in Woodbridge in Mexico, Pampanga. Pero itong kinuha nilang suspect at present sa media at pinailan nila ng kaso came from inside the Clark
Yung
Freeport
Rico.
Zone.
Ay,
Rico home.
ah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please.
So after, I think, sir, sometime in June or May, we filed the case. A very strong case against the respondent. And that was in 2014. And we were closely monitoring po yung kaso. Until nag-retire na po ako, nagtatanong ako lagi, ano nangyari doon sa kaso? So tinatanong ko lagi, by the way, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, my investigating officer, the head of the investigating team is General Bert Ferro, who was then the head of our Criminal Investigation Detection Unit.
Yes.
It's a special unit for special investigations. And he was the head. Lagi ko siyang tinatanong, ano nangyari doon sa kaso? Sabi niya, sir, wala pa, sir eh. Hanggang nag-retire na po ako ng December 2016, wala pa rin po disposition. We filed it sa National Prosecutor Service ng Department of Justice.
Excuse me, General Ferro, do you confirm? Do you agree with the presentation made or the report that is being presented here by General Magalong?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So you agree
Yes, sir.
on all fours?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Nung retired na po ako, I learned na meron palang napirmahan si General Petrasanta na decision on the administrative case. And I believe that was sometime in November 2014. And the decision was dismissal of the team of Police Superintendent Baloyo, of Police Superintendent Baloyo and the rest of the members
Let me
of
just
his team.
clarify. If dinidismiss o,
Dismiss.
sinisisante lahat yung mga pulis kasi pwede sabihin dismiss yung case.
Yes, sir.
Ito, dismissal ng mga tao from the police force. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tanggal sila. Opo. Lahat sila.
Opo, opo.
Sige po.
For grave misconduct.
For grave misconduct.
Yes, sir. And the date of that dismissal order was November 14, 2014. But it was never implemented. And surprisingly, sometime in 2017, I got a copy of an order, another administrative result of an administrative proceedings, stating therein that was dated October 17, 2017, that Police Superintendent Baloyo and the rest of the members of his team are simply demoted in rank.
So, naging demotion na lang.
Yes.
Sino po ang nakapirma
Yes,
doon?
Mr. Chair. And this was signed by General Amador Corpus. He was then the Regional Director of Police Regional Office 3.
General Corpus is here. You may sit down, please. Do you confirm that you signed an order demoting the ranks of all these people that were involved in this? You confirm. Why did you demote them? You know that there was a prior dismissal. Alam mo, tinanggal na yan ni Petro Santa. Tapos kayo biglang magiging demotion na lang. Yes, go ahead, Senator Lacson.
Mr. Chairman, I want to be clarified because it is true that the dismissal order signed by then Police Chief Superintendent Petrasanta is dated November 14, 2014. The copy of said decision was duly served and received by the respondents on March 2 of 2016. 2016.
15.
And their subsequent motion for reconsideration was partially granted and the penalty of dismissal from the PNP service was modified to one rank demotion. Ito yung November 17 of 2017. So my question is, what took you so long to implement or to deliver the service of the dismissal order? Because it took you 2 years, less than 2 years as a matter of fact, because the date of the decision is November 14, 2014, but the copy of the decision was only served and received by the respondents on March 2 of 2016. Bakit po ganun katagal ang implementation nung dismissal?
Sino tinatanong niyo, sir? Sino tinatanong niyo?
Sila po, maski sino sa PNP, maybe DPRM.
General Corpus, you are the one involved in demoting. Bakit ganun
No,
katagal?
wala pa siya nung March 2 of 2016. Who was the regional director noong March 2 of 2016 when the copy of the decision was served to the respondents?
Would that be Aaron
At that time.
Aquino?
Sir, it's General Lacadin.
General?
Lacadin during that time. I was assigned there as Regional Director September.
So tanong, kung ang decision ni General Petrasanta, November 14, 2014, napakatagal namang ibiyahe nung decision na yan para i-serve.
Excuse me, sir. Anong pangalan ni General yung umalit kay Petro Santa?
General Rody Lacadin, sir.
Rudy
Lacadin.
Lacadin.
So yun lang po ang tanong ko and we want to be clarified. Ano ba yon? Regular ba yon na mahigit 1 taon o kulang-kulang 2 taon? Mahigit, sabihin natin mahigit 1 taon. Kasi November yung 2014 hanggang March to 2016. Ano nangyari sa pagitan ng dalawang petsa na yon? Bakit hindi na-serve yung order, yung summary, yung dismissal order? I just want to be clarified, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, of course, you have the right to be clarified, all of us.
We have to ask who was the regional commander at that time.
Lakadin.
He's not here? He's
Let us subpoena General Lakadin then. Would the committee agree?
Yes.
All right.
And I would like to find out because as per yung Napolcom memo circular, well, of course, amending circular ito noong disciplinary rules and procedure as contained in Memorandum Circular 2007, no, -001. Ang nakalagay dito, within 10 days, kailan mag-file ng motion for reconsideration. Kung hindi, out of time. So the decision becomes final. So kailan sila nag-file ng motion for reconsideration? Yes,
Sir, March 14, sir.
of
2016, sir.
16.
After ma-serve sila nung March 2.
Your Honor,
Kung March 14 sila nag-file ng motion for reconsideration, out of time.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, they received the copy of the decision March 2.
Yes.
They submitted their motion for reconsideration March 14 because March 12 is a Saturday, sir.
So within 10 days.
Yes, sir, it is.
Ano bang regulasyon diyan? Working days, calendar days.
Yes, sir, the March 12 is the last day, the polling on a Saturday, sir. So the next officer is...
No, ang tanong ko, meron bang Napolcom dito or maybe the Chief PNP? Ano ba sinusunod natin? Calendar days or
Working days.
working days?
calendar day, sir.
Oh, di out of time. Kung calendar days, between March 2 and March 14, 12 days yan.
Senator Lacson, I think they're explaining that the last day, which is March 12, is a Saturday. That is why they filed the MR on the 14th, which is the first working day
After Saturday.
after March 12, which is the deadline.
But if the rule says it's calendar days, it doesn't matter. They could have filed their motion for reconsideration on a Friday instead of waiting for Sunday or Saturday, because they would know that March 11 or March 10 or March 12, whatever the date is a weekend. Kaya nga tinanong ko kung calendar days or working days. So the motion for reconsideration was filed out of time. Kasi ang sabi ng Napolcom memo circular, within 10 days, kailan mag-file ng motion for reconsideration. And if denied, they will have to go to the regional appellate board, di ba? Okay. So kung March 14 sila nag-file ng MR, yeah, out of time. And then ang decision dapat, di ba, within 15 days dapat ma-render yung decision do sa MR. No, 15 days nakalagay sa disciplinary rules eh.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, may I request the assisting lawyer to...
Mr. Chairman, may I request Mayor Magalong to continue and finish the testimony so that the committee can have a complete picture of what has happened, and then we can ask specific questions later on. If that sits well with the chair and the other members of the committee, let's allow Mayor Magalong to finish his testimony.
Mr. Chairman, I only intervened because he skipped the event on March 2 of 2016. And I might forget later on that particular event, which is material in his testimony.
Well, General Magalong can continue later. I want that answered first. Okay, Senator Lacson.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, I'm requesting the assisting lawyer to...
Assisting lawyer or lawyer mo or assisting
No,
lawyer?
sir, legal officer, sir.
Legal officer. Okay. Please raise your right hand And state your name. Loud, please. Colonel Judy Santos Lopez. And what is your position, Colonel? And what is your billet?
Your Honor, in 2017 to 2023, I was the regional legal officer of PR1.
This moment.
These are personnel who don't do nothing but the truth in this proceeding.
Can you repeat your answer again? At that time, you were?
Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, in 2017, particularly January 23, I assumed as the regional chief of PRO3, Your Honor. The question was proposed by
Can you come closer to the microphone?
the good Senator Lacson was, during the period that the respondent received the decision of General Patrasanta, that decision was received by them on March 2 of 2016.
But it was signed 2 years before, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
The
Honor.
question of Senator reduction is why did it take so long? But anyway, we'll take care of that later.
Okay.
So finally, they received it on March 2.
March
They
2
filed a
of
motion for
2000.
reconsideration. Is that what you're
Yes,
going to
Your
say?
Honor. They filed the motion for reconsideration on March 14, 2016,
Right.
which is on March 14, that is exactly the 12th date, Your Honor. Because on March 10, it falls on a Saturday. There is no working hour, particularly on the regional
And in law,
offices. And in law, Your Honor, the next
If it
working
falls on a
day-
Saturday,
it falls on a Saturday.
the next
then
working day is the
working
time
day
is
Monday.
That's
and
right.
It was 14, Your Honor.
that's the law, right?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, all right.
That's why the motion for reconsideration
I agree with
was
you.
filed
Right.
and seasonably filed on time.
So you're saying it was filed on time?
Yes, Your Honor. I agree, Your Honor, that it is still a calendar day, Your Honor, because in the counting of the same, you should count the Saturdays and Sunday. But on the filing, considering that it falls on a Saturday, then jurisprudence will tell us, and even the rules of court will tell us, that it should be filed on the next working day immediately.
I was
and
taught that
would
by
be Monday.
Lorna Kapunan when we were both in Accra.
Yes, Your Honor.
The lawyer's
She's
trick.
my
Go ahead.
idol.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, so it was seasonably.
All right, can we proceed? Although the question of delaying, how it took you so long to provide the decision for dismissal, I would imagine that, di ba summary yan halos? That's the RD's prerogative.
It took them 3 regional directors.
3 regional directors bago natanggal. I mean, talagang mapasensyoso kayo sa PNP, grabe yan. Go ahead, General Magalong. Don't mind my remarks. Sometimes I get really disappointed. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, tapos na po yung aking testimony. It's a summary of what transpired during that particular incident. All the specifics po can be provided by General Bertero.